Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. It's like our friend Manali. Haribo.
Krishna, Hare Krishna. Is that coming at speakers? No. Yes. No. Is it? I'm sure you can hear me without it anyway. So, Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki, Shri Ram Nomi Mahotsava ki, Sri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki. Shishi Kodni time, I Pishashi Ki. Shila Prabhupada Ki. Skongaruvan Ki. So, welcome to Krunabavan Mahi Festival. You've heard of Maha. Maha means great, right? Maha Mahotsava. Mahotsava means great festival. Utsava, Maha and Utsava, Mahotsava. So it means Utsava also means enthusiasm. So we come together to enthusiastically hear and speak about the Lord or the Lord's associates and their pastimes and their wonderful qualities. So today is the day when Lord Ram appeared many millennia ago. And though Mahi means small, Maha means great. Just like there was Ravan, who who kidnapped Sita, but he had another brother, a young brother called Mahi Ravan, who's another demon. And yeah, typically whenever the Lord appears, then Paritranaya sadunam vinashaya chaduskritam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So Paritranaya sadunam, the sadhus, the devotees, the Lord appears to protect them and to deliver them, often at deliver them from the hands of some demoniac oppression. For example, Prahlad Maharaj, young 5-year-old boy, his father, he was a great devotee, and his father tried in so many ways to kill him. But Mari Krishna Rakike, Raki Krishna Marike, if Krishna wants to kill me, nobody can save me. Like Kamsa. He tried so many ways to kill Krishna because it was foretold that the 8th son of Devaki would be the death of you. So he was such a demonic person, he was killing all the children in the vicinity. Krishna was taken to Vrindavan, and when he found out Krishna was there, he sent so many mystic yogis. Not all mystic yogis are devotees. Some of them use their powers for bad purposes as well. Just like someone may have an ability and they may use it for a good purpose, or they may use it for a destructive purpose. So sometimes this is why they're called demons, because they have either a divine spirit or demoniac spirit. So when they have the demoniac spirit and they utilize some of these mystic powers for evil, then and they create so much disturbance, then Paritranaya Sadhunam, the Lord descends to protect the devotees and to protect the innocent public. Of course, in Kali Yuga, he could come every day, couldn't he? But it's mentioned that in Kali Yuga, the Lord appears in Nam Avatar in the form of the holy name. There's no difference between the Lord and his holy name. And sometimes we have experienced that. If we've been on Harinam, and sometimes people are not so favourable and they attack us, and we chant the names of Lord Nrsingadev, and then something mystical happens where somebody just intercepts and protects the devotees. We've experienced that on a few occasions. Of course, we must remember the Lord is not our servant. It's not that we foolishly put ourselves in danger and say, okay, Krishna, where are you? I'm your devotee. The devotee doesn't do that to the Lord. If the devotee is acting on behalf of the Lord and finds himself in a difficult situation, then he takes shelter of the Lord. But also, we understand that the Lord is not simply there to protect our material body. If we're in the bodily concept, we think protection means to protect our body. But the real protection is to protect our devotional creeper, protect our opportunities for devotional service. So just at the time of Lord Ram, then Ravan and his demoniac cohorts, they were typically, the demons, what they like to do is, because they're envious of Lord Vishnu, and they say that the Brahmins, Vishnu eats through the mouth of the Brahmins. So when the Brahmins make sacrifices into the sacrificial fire, it's considered to be the mouth of Lord Vishnu. So they would typically they would try to interrupt these sacrifices. They would come and pass urine, etc., on the sacrificial things and contaminate the area. And with their mystic powers, they would create so many disturbances. So they would contaminate it, and then therefore the Brahmins wouldn't be able to perform sacrifices. And the reason why they were doing this is because they're thinking, well, if Vishnu subsists on the offerings of the Brahmins and we stop the offerings, then Vishnu will be killed. So this is their mentality, because they didn't know that Vishnu is Ajita. He's unconquerable. He's Sarva Karna Karnam. Krishna is the cause of all causes. So because of their forgetfulness, they don't understand the actual unlimited potency of the Lord. And so ultimately, when the devotees are struggling, and then they appeal to the Lord, and the Lord appears. So on this occasion, he appeared as the ideal monarch, the ideal king. So there's a nice verse in Bhagavad Gita, and also we were just reading in the 6th canto, Yajad Acharati Shrishtas Tatad Evitarojanaha Sayat Parmanam Kurute Lokastad Anuvartate. Does anybody know the translation to that one? Footsteps. Yeah, whatever a great man performs, or a great person performs, whatever action they perform, common people follow in the footsteps, and whatever they set by exemplary acts, the whole world pursues. So, of course, we see nowadays the role models are people who don't have necessarily divine qualities, but typically it's natural in the mass of people to want to look up and follow somebody who can lead them. It's natural for that. But because people are unqualified, then the mass of people lose faith. They don't bother voting, or they turn to communism, or they just become very much, looking after number one. If you can't beat them, join them. So, all sorts of different things. But if there's good leadership, then the people feel valued, they feel protected, and they feel wanted. They feel like they have a place in the whole of society, and they feel satisfied. Even in the times of Krishna, or typically, Vedic times, but there was a story of the times of Krishna where the rainfall wasn't happening at the right time. Then the Vaishyas, they would go and complain to the king, what's happening here? The rainfall is not happening. You must not be doing the appropriate sacrifices. And then the king would see, what's happening, and the Brahmins doing their duties, etc. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that grains are produced from yajna, from rain, sorry. Grains are coming, foodstuffs, grass, and the grains, etc. These are produced from rains, and the rains are produced from yajna, from fire, from sacrifice. So the Brahmin's duty was to perform sacrifices for the well-being of everybody. So everybody played a part. But when someone doesn't want to play a part, and they want to build a stairway to heaven, which is what Ravan wanted to do, wasn't it? Is that right? It was Ravan that wanted to do that. Then he thought, let's just make a shortcut. Never mind all this surrender, austerities, etc. In fact, they did austerities. He did austerities so that he could become very powerful. But typically, they become so powerful that they subjugate the demigods, and then they interfere with the running of nature, the natural running of, and not just this planet, but the universe. They create so much disruption. And then typically the demigods would go to the Kshirodakashaya ocean, and they'd pray to Lord Vishnu, please appear. So, Vinashaya Chaduskritam. So, Vinasha means to destroy, to annihilate, or to put right. Chaduskritam, the Duskritinas, the miscreants, Duskritana, miscreant, that, and Dharma Samstapanartaya, to re-establish the principles of Dharma. So when the demon's upset the natural order of things, then Krishna comes to once again re-establish the natural order of things. Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. So Yuge means yuga, or age after age, millennium after millennium, I event myself. And the next verse is Yudai Dahi Dharmasya, Glanir Bhavitabarta, Abutanama Dharmasya Tadatman Sajam Yaham. Or was that the first one? That was the one before. Whenever and wherever there's a decline in religious practice. So he's not talking about practice of faith, he's talking about religious principles. Because there's so many different faiths. And Prabhupada also, he wasn't saying that people had to give up their faith, but they should apply it properly, and then they'll see actually it's all the same anyway. There's no argument. So whenever there's a decline in this religious practice and a predominant rise of adharma, or of unnatural living, of irreligion, then at that time I descend myself. So, Lord Ramachandra is an incarnation of Sri Krishna. He appeared in Treta Yuga as a son of Maharaj Dasarat and Queen Kaushalya in the Surya Vamsa, the dynasty of the sun. He had 3 brothers. Can anybody name one? Bharat, Lakshman, Shatrughna. Yeah, Vrinda and Ashish got that one. That's the lesser known one. But yeah, these were the 3 brothers. His wife is Srimati Sita Devi, the daughter of Maharaj Janaka. Yeah. Another name for Sita is Janaki. Janaki means daughter of Janak. Maharaj Dasarat, to uphold a promise given to his younger queen Kaikeyi, banished Lord Ram to the forest on the eve of his coronation. Sita Devi and Lakshman accompanied the Lord in his 14-year exile. Ravan, a 10-headed demon, hearing of Sita Devi's beauty, kidnapped her with the help of Marichi, a magician who assumed the form of a golden deer to lead Lord Ram away from the ashram. With the help of Hanuman, Sugriva, and their monkey soldiers, Lord Ram and Lakshman defeated Ravana and his powerful allies, rescued Sita Devi, and enthroned Ravan's pious brother Vibhishan on the throne of Lanka. So Vibhishan, although he was the brother of Ravan had more than one brother, but Vibhishan was actually a devotee, although he was born in a family of non-devotees. And Lord Ram actually put him on the throne of Lanka. So Lanka is Sri Lanka. It was known as Lanka, and then Ceylon, and then Sri Lanka. So this is the place where these pastimes took place. And so it gives us hope also. We were maybe not born in such a pious family, at least personally speaking, but still the Lord is very kind and He accepts us if we have a devotional attitude, if we try to be a devotee. In fact, Lord Ramachandra says that if one declares to me, from this day on I'm yours, then I become his ward. So if you want to get the protection and come under the care of Lord Ram, then you can say, my dear Lord, from this day I'm yours, just direct me. But you need to be serious about it. Well, I know one devotee, he went to see the deity of, I think it was Balaji, who fulfills all desires. It's a great big deity, right? He's so big that they actually have 3 different altars. You can't see him all in one time. It's huge. Have you ever seen Balaji? Yeah. How big is he? He's lying, isn't it? Is he not lying? So which one is that? It's not Venkateshwar, is it? Yeah, there's one where actually it's such a big deity, sleeping Vishnu type deity. Just like in Nepal, there's one which is many meters long. They say it was self-manifesting. They were excavating and they discovered this huge deity, which is probably about the size of this room. I mean, if you ever get to Nepal, anybody here been to Nepal? Did you ever see Buddha Nilkanta, sleeping Vishnu? So you go there, and then it's almost like you're looking down, which would probably be a swimming pool or a veranda, and you're looking down probably about 4 meters, and then you see the deity of Vishnu there. Amazing. So also this other deity of Vishnu in South India, I forget particularly the name, but if you pray to that deity, then he fulfills your desires. And I remember one devotee telling me that he made a prayer that he later on realized he shouldn't have made that, because he says, please remove all my desires and stop all my nonsense in this life. And he realized the Lord heard his prayer, and he wasn't letting him away with anything. So be careful what you pray for or what you desire, because you might get it. We should understand what we're looking for. So he was, Vibhishan was put on the throne of Lanka, and Sri Ramachandra returned to his capital Ayodhya and ruled the earth for a long time. His sons Lava and Kush were born in the ashram of Valmiki Muni, the author of the Ramayana, the epic description of Ramachandra's pastimes. So not only in India, historically speaking, Lord Ramachandra's pastimes are known all over Southeast Asia. Even in Thailand, they have one city called Ayutthaya, which is actually Ayodhya, and they have their own festivals there, displaying the pastimes of Lord Ram in the typical Thai style of art, dance, and drama. So, and there's this pastime of the building of the bridge to Lanka from Cape. Which one? It's not Cape Comorin, is it? My geography's not too good. So they say that that this was man-made, of course, by by the mystic potency of the Lord. Then the Lord Ram and his associates built a bridge to Lanka so that his whole army could go to Lanka and rescue Sita. And scientists have looked into these rocks, and they say that they're not actually of that area. They were taken from other place. They're not naturally occurring in the sea. And they say it's the one man-made thing that you can see from outer space. It's actually, traditionally it's called Adam's Bridge, because it's been there since time immemorial. But this was built by Lord Ram and his soldiers. It's an interesting pastime showing the mercy and the all-encompassing compassion of the Lord. So as the associates of Lord Ram were chanting the name of Lord Ram, by chanting the name of the Lord and putting these stones in, they became so charged with Ram Shakti, and they could float. And then there was this little spider who was kicking bits of sand in, and so was it Lakshman? Was it Hanuman? You sure? Okay, so Hanuman was laughing, at this little spider's effort. And Lord Ramachandra says, no, don't laugh. The service of this spider is as valuable as your service. So this is really what we call Krishna is the Lord of all living entities. What's that in Bhagavad Gita? And there's a name for Krishna who's the Lord of all beings. I can't remember. It's just slipped my mind. Did someone say? What? Yeah, but not that one, actually. Yeah, you're right as well. So anyway, it just shows you that the Lord is so kind, he accepts the service of all living entities. So this is some of the great qualities of Lord Ram. Even now, his fame is still so much admired and appreciated, that in his exalted position, that even the present day residents of India, they long for Ram Raj. Ram Raj means to have the kingdom of Lord Ram. Oh, again. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I think that's okay. But unless the people are actually properly devoted to Lord Ram and Lord Ram's culture, then they can only make some imitation, some cheap imitation. So they have to look not just at the external things he did, but they have to look at the qualities and really imbibe those qualities. So in this way, the people will begin to put faith in leaders again when they see them doing the right things. It's just like last year in Scotland, they had this COP26, and I remember hearing one interview on the radio. There's one American lady. We didn't have any deities in the temple for the first 12 years. We had a big Panchatattva picture. And of course, we were happy with that because the Lord can reciprocate even the painting form is one of the deities, one of the deity forms, many different forms of deities, can be made of clay, wood, stone, straw, sand, paint. Take this off. So one of the, and there's another type of deity which is called Shalagram Shila. So generally deities are installed, but a Shila is a self-manifesting form of Lord Vishnu, which you'll find in the river Gandaki, high up in the mountains in Nepal. And this particular one, although it was a personal deity of Balabhadra Prabhu, then it was very much, we had a very close connection and affection, and the Lord was very kind to all the devotees here. So just as Krishna's house is known as Nanda Bhavan, the house of Nanda Maharaj, then we considered this is the house of Kruna Sindhu, so it was called Kruna Bhavan. So Kruna means mercy. So for many years, this was the focus of our attention, of our worship, was this Kruna Sindhu deity. Shishi Kuntai Ma Prashashiki Jai. Lord Chaitanya is also known as Karuna Sindhu or Kripa Sindhu, ocean of mercy. Sindhu means ocean. So for some years we had started this Gauranga campaign where it's considered that there's no offence in chanting the name of Lord Gauranga. So we were getting everybody to chant Gauranga so that they could become purified and then qualified to chant Hare Krishna. And we were seeing amazing effects of this. Very noticeable effects where things were becoming very auspicious, and there was a lot of enthusiasm from the general public and so much publicity, free publicity, and the devotees were going to amazing extents to get the holy name of Lord Gauranga out there. It really was becoming a household name. So then mystically, in February, March 1996, the GB discussed the future of a certain set of Gaur-Nitai deities in Berkeley, San Francisco. There wasn't enough devotees there residing at that temple to serve them properly, and it was proposed by the GBC to find a new home for them. Meanwhile, the Call Out Gauranga Be Happy campaign was in full swing here in Scotland at that time. Buses, bridges, newspapers, festivals, etc. So whenever we met people, we'd ask them to call out Gauranga. And that atmosphere became surcharged with the transcendental sound vibration of Gauranga. Prior to this Gauranga campaign, we used to get a lot of persecution from the police and other certain kind of established religious persons and religious fanatics who didn't really want our presence in Scotland. However, when the devotees prevailed and the Gauranga campaign mellowed all that out, after Lord Chaitanya, after all, Lord Chaitanya is Mahavadanya Avatar, the most merciful incarnation. So the kind of persecuting and inimical attitude towards the devotees, that waned. And so when we chant the name of Lord Chaitanya, then there's no offence, only spiritual advancement, so only auspiciousness. So after some consultation between the Karuna Bhavan devotees, our leader, and the GBC, then we offered to take on the service of these Gaur-Nitai deities. And we expected that to be quite a while before we heard any news of any arrangements. So on Ram Navami in 1996, which would have just been like a month or so after, practically a month after the GBC meetings, when it was decided that Scotland would take those deities. So we were celebrating Ram Navami, and we were out on Sankirtan and Harinam. And at that time we had a big 30-seater bus. And so I just drove it back in. We had like quite a lot of devotees in there. As soon as I drove into the driveway, then Balabhadra says, okay, Prana, turn the bus around, everybody out. We're going to the airport. Gornitai has arrived. So this is no small thing, because we've been worshipping Lord Ram for some time. And on Ram Navami, we'd also been worshipping Lord Chaitanya in the form of his holy name. So on Ram Navami, Lord Chaitanya decided to appear to show, I'm the same. You've been worshipping me as Karuna Sindhu. I'm also Karuna Sindhu here in this form. So Balabhadra and myself went to the airport, and they were in a huge big wooden crate. It was quite a big bus, and we'd taken some seats out the back, and we thought, okay, we'll get that in. We couldn't lift it, but they tried to get in with a forklift truck, but it just wouldn't fit. So we had to unscrew the box, and we got darshan of the deities. In fact, when we got there, then it's considered, at least we understood at that time, that Lord Ram appeared at sunset, and it was just at sunset when we signed the papers to get the deities, because we were thinking, there was some kind of discussion we'd have to come back, but we're just praying, let's, let not the deities hang around in some warehouse. So we opened up this huge big wooden box. Deities were there. We offered obeisances, put them on the front seat of the bus, seat belts on. Not that they have to apply, obey the law or anything. They're the supreme lawmakers. And we put all their paraphernalia on overhead racks and everything. And it seems like the Lord's desire was, okay, I've arrived in Scotland, now I want to give darshan to Scotland as we drive back to the temple. So it was amazing driving the bus with Gornitai. It was like Rath Yatra, the Supreme Lord on his chariot, driving through, giving his mercy to everybody. So, and that was on this day, 26 years ago. So, with regards to the Lord, his appearance, his appearance in the form of the deity also, then if we treat the Lord, if we have faith in the words of the Lord and treat the Lord according to his words, that the Lord and the deity are non-different, and we understand, the proper etiquette in worshipping the Lord and being in the temple, etc., then the Lord will reciprocate. If we take it lackadaisically, or we don't take it seriously, then our faith, Krishna will reciprocate accordingly. If we're not serious, then he won't be too serious to reveal himself. But if we, and I had one experience like that, it was in Karuna Sindhu's, the room which is my office was where Karuna Sindhu used to be. And my mind was going through a bit of a doubtful stage. And I was thinking, well, I don't know if this is all right, if this is all real. It could just be some rock. It could just be some statue, some idol. And then I thought, well, what do I believe? Well, so far, everything that I've heard from Prabhupada, I've found that to be true. And whatever I've practiced there, I've got faith in Srila Prabhupada's words. So Prabhupada says, if we treat the deity like stone, then we're stone-hearted. We'll remain stone-hearted, and the deity won't reveal himself. Or we treat the deity like wood, then we've got a wooden head. Whereas if we treat the deity like the Supreme Lord, he'll reciprocate. So immediately I thought, okay, let me just bow down. And as soon as I did that, my doubt went. So this is the thing. If we just have faith in the words of the previous acharyas and follow their directions, then the Lord will reveal himself bit by bit, according to our level of faith. So we should take advantage. And same on these appearance days, they're actually very auspicious days. Where doing the fasting, sometimes it may be a bit of a challenge, but when we fast on these days, then we get special mercy of the Lord. We are doing something to honor the Lord's appearance. So So Shishi Kodnitai Marpishashi, their parents stay in Scotland is also here. And they've come here to give us opportunity to engage in pure Bhakti Yoga and to become free from Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, repeated birth and death, old age and disease. So this is what they're offering. And simply all we have to do is chant Hare Krishna and take to the devoted lifestyle. Okay, so we'll just stop there.
1996. 28th of March, surgery.
Okay, so this, that would be solar calendar. It was a week later where we took a week to build the altar because they arrived without any notice. We just learned that day and then we just rushed in and so it was quite a buzz going on. And so 26 years of serving the deities here, and we look forward to these deities being served for generations to come. So that's also the responsibility of all your younger devotees. Once all us old codgers have moved on to another sphere, hopefully up there, then all the younger devotees, the responsibility will be left in your hands. So this is a great opportunity for you as well to be attentive to your devotional service, attentive to your japa, and absorbing hearing and chanting so that we become purified and become connected with the Lord. And whatever challenges we experience in our endeavors to be devotees, just always remember that the Lord will be there to catch you on the other side. And we're pleased to say also that the Scottish Yatra is growing. Although there's not so many numbers here at the temple, the Yatra is growing in other places and people are gradually coming to the temple. Okay, so I think we'll just stop there. So we encourage everybody to take the opportunity to try to serve Sri Sri Kodnitai Mahaprashansi's mission here in Scotland. And there's only a few small number of devotees here. We can't do all this work on our own. So if everybody can help a little bit to help further this movement, then Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda and Lord Ramachandra will shower their blessings upon us and give us their protection, and we'll become their property. And that means we're always under their protection. Ashish.
You will. So, Sri Kodanda Mayapur, Sashi, the deities, when they were in America, where they called Sri Kodanda Mayapur Sashi?
No, I know they were just known as Gornitai. Ragnar, do you know anything from the research? So interesting though, we have had a couple of devotees here who used to serve them. Vaisheshika Prabhu came here to visit, and just before he arrived, we learned that he used to worship those deities in San Francisco. So we didn't tell him. We had a transcendental surprise for him. So he came into the temple and he paid his obeisances, and as soon as he got up, he was like, I says, do you see anybody you recognize? He said, well, I used to worship those deities in San Francisco. So if we get the chance, we could ask him, but I'm not aware of any other name other than Gornitai.
And when deities arrive here, they got this name for an Mayapur Sashi?
Not immediately, but after a little while. That's a good point, actually. My wife would probably be the best person to ask because she was head pujari at the time. She remembers a lot of the history of when things happened, so I'll ask her about that. Any other questions or comments? Pada?
Did they get installed?
They were already installed before they came here by Swarup Damodar Maharaj, Prabhupada disciple, who was one of the chief devotees of the Bhaktivedanta Institute. And they were fashioned in New Vrindavan, and there's another set of Gaunitai similar to those in New Vrindavan. And there was a devotee who came here to visit once. His name was Jai. I can't remember his name, but his father made them. Anything else? Okay, so I think we can chant some Ram bhajans now. Will you be able to put the words up here? Ayodhya Vasi. And Vrinda could sing Ayodhya Vasi. And some Maha Mantra. And that can take us up to Arti. So, because of COVID, then there's very few devotees here. And the festival, for anyone who's online, thanks for joining online. And unfortunately, we couldn't have the public festival, which we were hoping. Had there been a public festival, there'd probably be about 100 people here on today, but almost everybody fell down, but they fell victim to the COVID, and there's still some devotees yet to come back in. So we'll have another small festival on Wednesday, which will be online as well. But we're not ready yet to open to the public in general. So it'll just be for the local devotees here who reside at the temple. But there will be a small feast offered for the deity's pleasure today. So the devotees will get some maha of that, but the main feast and festival will be on Wednesday. So this bhajan or devotional song which Vrinda is going to sing, Ayodhya Vasi Ram. So Ayodhya Vasi means the resident of Ayodhya, who's Lord Ram. Dasaratha Nandana Ram, the son of Dasarat, Maharaj Dasarat. Patita Pavana means Saviour of the most fallen. Janaki Jivana, the life of Janaki, the life and soul of Srimati Sita Devi. Sita Mohana Ram, the Ram who is the attractor of the mind of Sita. And it's just that one verse, isn't it? Okay. Thank you.
Ayodhya Vasi Ram, Dasaratha Nandana Ram, Patita Pavana Janaki Jivana, Sita Mohana Ram. Ayodhya Vasi Ram, Dasaratha Nandana Ram. Ayodhya Vasi Ram, Dasaratha Nandana Ram, Patita Pavana Janaki Jivana, Sita Mohana Dasaratanantananam Sita Pamana Janaki Jivana Sita Mohanana Ayodhyavasidam Dasaratanantananam Atita Pamana Janaki Jivana Sita Mohanana Jaya Ram Sita Ram Jaya Ram 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 Sita Ram 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 Jaya Ram Sita Ram Jaya Ram 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 Sita Ram 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 Ayodhyavasidam Dasaratanantananam Patita Pamana Janaki Jivana Sita Mohanana Sita Sita Pamana Janaki Jivana Sita Mohanana Ayodhyavasidam Dasaratanantananam Patita Pamana Janaki Jivana Sita Mohanana Jaya Ram Sita Ram Jaya Ram 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 Sita Ram 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 Jaya Ram Sita Ram Jaya Ram 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 Sita Ram 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 Ayodhyavasidam Dasaratanantananam Patita Pamana Janaki Jivana Sita Mohanana Sita Ayodhyavasidam Dasaratanantananam Patita Pamana Janaki Jivana Sita Mohanana Jaya Ram Sita Ram Jaya Ram 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 Sita Ram 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 Jaya Ram Sita Ram Jaya Ram 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 Sita Ram Jabasira Tasanatanandana Katita Pamana Janaki Jivana Sita Mohadana Ayodhya Vasira Tatanatanandana Patita Pavana Janaki Jivana Sita Mohanara Jaya Ram Sita Ram Satya Ram 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 Sita Ram 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 Jaya Ram Sita Ram Jaya Ram 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 Sita Ram 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ramo Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Shikoni time I Krishna Shiki Jai. Shri Krishna Sindhu Bhagavan ki. Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki Jai. Shri Krishna Bhavandam ki Jai. Vaishnav Seva Vaishnav Sangha ki Jai. Gauranga.
Jaya Gaura Chande Aruti Kushobam Shiva Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Aruti Kushobam Jana Vitatavane Jagamana Loba Jana Vitatavane Jagamana Loba Jake Nenitai Chan Vamegadadhara Jake Nenitai Chan Vamegadadhara Nikate Advaita Shri Vasa Chatradara Nikate Advaita Shri Vasa Chatradara Vase Ache Gaurachan Ratna Simasane Vase Ache Gaurachan Rana Singasane Aroti Korena Brahma Adi Devagane Aroti Korena Brahma Adi Devagane Nada Hari Adi Kori Chamaradulaya Nada Hariyadikori Samaradulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Koshatikaya Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Koshatikaya Shankha Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Bhaje Karatala Shankha Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Bhaje Karatala Madhura Mridanga Bhaje Paramarasala Madhura Mridanga Bhaje Paramarasala Shankha Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje 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 Madhur 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 Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje Nitai Gora Haribo 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 Nitai Gora Haribo Nitai Gora Haribo Nitai Gora Haribo 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 Nitai Gora Haribo Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Sadhana Ujjvala Rahu Koti Chandra Jini Sadhana Ujjvala Jaladeshe Vanamala Kore Jalamala Jaladeshe Vanamala Kore Jalamala Shiva Sukana Radha Preme Gada Gada Shiva Shiva Sukhanara Premegata Kada Akati Vinodadeke Purara Sampada Akati Vinodadeke Purara Sampada Akati Vinodadeke Purara Sampada Shiva Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Aruti Kushoba Janavikatavane Jagamanoloba Gorangera Rotikshobha Jagajana Manaloba Gorangera Rotikshobha Jagajana Manaloba Gorangera Rotikshobha Jagajana Manaloba Gorangera Rotikshobha Jagajana Manaloba Jagajana Manaloba Jaya Jana Manolobha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Shri Krishna Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Jaya Kodanita Jaya Mayapur Shashi 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 Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga. Jasachinandana Gora Hare, Jasachinandana Gora Hare. Gora Hare, Gora Hare, Gora Hare, Gora Hare, Jasachinandana Gora Hare, Jasachinandana Gora Hare. Jai Sachinandana Gora Hare Jai Sachinandana Gora Hare Haribo 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 Nitai Gora Haribo Nitai Gora Haribo 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 Nitai Gora Haribo Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Shri Kodnitai Mahaprasasha ki, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivraja Vicharas Tatar Shri Smadhi Divine Grace Abhay Charana Ravindra Muktinant Swamran Srila Prabhupada ki, ISKCON Founder Chari BBT Founder Chari Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Guru Parampara ki, Nanda Kori Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Nama Acharya Shri Das Thakur ki, Shri Sad Goswami Prabhu ki, Prem Thakur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Radha Kundira Govardhan ki, Shri Mathur Dam Dam ki, Shri Nildi Mapadam ki, Shri Nil Chaujang Puridam ki, Shri Krishna Dam ki, Shri Ayodhya Dam ki, Shri Shri Kodnitai Mahaprasasha ki, Shri Tulsinath Maharaj ki, Shri Garidhara Lal ki, Shri Nisingdev Bhagavan ki, Shri Kurin Sindhu Bhagavan ki, Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki, Shri Sri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shri Mati Vrinda Devi ki, ISKCON Guru ki, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. All glories to Shri Guru Shiva. Namaste Narasimhaya.
Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Shilatankanakalaye Ito nisimho parato nisimho Yato yato yamitato nisimho Mahir nisimho Fridaye nisimho Narasimha Manim Sharanam Prapade Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shrila Dalika Kiranyakashipu Nanubringam Yeshavadita Narakari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Lalita Kashipu Janobringa Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama
Hare Krishna. So thanks everyone for attending online and in person. And we'll also have another celebration on Wednesday. And always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. This is the most important thing. Whatever's going on in their life, try to keep Krishna there. And especially on days like this, we try to remember the Lord's pastimes for specific incarnations and appreciate the value of Krishna consciousness in our life, and feel very fortunate that we have this Krishna consciousness. And if we can give it to others in some way through distributing books, Harinam Sankirtan, distributing prasadam, or at least distribute it to yourself. Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shri Kodnitai Mahaprashashi ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Iskon Guru Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.